I want us to imagine a bright ball of white light that comes down into the room that you're in, settling right in front of you, where it slowly starts seeping into your chest and anchors into your heart space, where it pulses and expands with each heartbeat. It's expanding larger and larger until your entire body is filled with this white, magnificent light. And it continues to expand outwards as it takes on the form of a white light pyramid that completely surrounds your body, with the peak about 20 feet above your head and the 4 points touching the ground. I want you to imagine a beam of light that shoots upwards and downwards from your heart space, going through all of your chakras, through the tip and base of the pyramid, where it goes onwards and connects to Source, and downwards to connect to the center of the earth. I want you to also imagine a beam of light shooting forward from your heart space and connecting to my pyramid as well, so that we're all anchored together and perfectly harmonized and synchronized to Source and Earth frequencies. And within this white light protection, we only allow truth, love, and wisdom to enter. Okay, and then always ask for physical confirmation that the white light pyramid has been activated and sensed into your body. Sometimes I get something, like sometimes I'll get like it feels like an involuntary body twitch, like when you're really relaxed. Other times nothing. So today was more light. I didn't feel it as much. Okay, thank you all for being here. We've got a small group, but still has value, so thank you. All right, if you have your rods or pendulum, now is the time to grab it. Oh, yeah, we'll do that later. Okay, so now that we've done our protections, now is the part where we call in somebody. And so if this is your first time, call in your highest self. Always start with your highest self, and then call in another being, because you can ask that be your highest self, is this person or deity that I want to connect with for my highest and greatest good, and go from there. Okay, but today we're planning on connecting with Merlin for the most part, but I also want to experiment with bringing in a cosmic spider. So if you weren't present for the last interview with Isis 2.0 interview, she brought in Shiva and they brought in a cosmic spider as well, which surprised us, but doesn't surprise me very much because I've had visions of, it was during an ayahuasca retreat that I had vision of myself as a cosmic spider. And it was the only way to describe it. The medicine really puts you into this experience, right? In all your senses. And all I can describe it is I felt I was this massive, massive spider covered in a whole bunch of spider babies that were crawling all over my body, which human me is very much not okay with that. But all I can say is that spider me has never been happier than in that moment. And that's like the solid description, is that I remember feeling like, these are my babies, my babies. And it just felt like these weren't just spider babies. It felt like galaxies of beings were these babies. That's all I can say. Okay? So then when Isis and Shiva brought in the galactic spiders, or the cosmic mothers as they're also known as, I was just like, okay, there's a connection here worth exploring. So we're going to explore and try and call one in. I know, wow, right? Like, there are a handful of memories from my ayahuasca experience that I will never forget. Really amazing ones. And maybe I'll have to do a story time about that experience too. But yeah, it was some... it's nice to know that I'm not crazy and other people are channeling forward this information. So part of this is to call them forward ourselves with the rods and ask some questions to verify like who they are, what they are. Okay, so let's start by calling in our highest self. You can just say, I'd like to call in my highest self to connect with me in the rods, and please show me a yes when you're connected. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. It was an Etsy hat, and I'm in the process, I haven't finished, but of bedazzling it. Okay, and we're channeling Merlin today too, so that's why I wear it. Okay, so now that I've called in my higher self, I'm going to call in Merlin. So you always ask, is it for my highest and greatest good to connect with Merlin today and ask him questions? I get a yes. Okay. So then we have the permission slip to proceed. If you get a no, just stick with your highest self, correct? Yes. Okay. I'm wondering though, would it say no, it's not for anyone's highest and greatest good to connect with Merlin? Would that ever happen? I'm getting a yes. Okay, well there you go. And I get the sense that it's like some people are just not, is it because some people are not ready? Yes. Okay, so none of those cases are that Merlin would be negative to their experience. Yes. Okay. All right, now I would like to call in Merlin then. Merlin, are you here and ready to connect? Yes. Okay, cool. And for those walking in being like, Merlin? Like, yes, the actual wizard man who lived during the Arthurian age. Yeah. What we're going to come to learn is that a lot of our myths hold truth. But truth that's been passed through millennia of telephone game. But still, there's still crumpets of truth. More than crumbs. Crumpets. Okay, and yeah, and so if you're new to connecting with Merlin, I always say something I recently learned about him that I find fascinating is that there is 100% a connection between Merlin and Saint Germain, correct? I get a yes. And my previous thought was that Merlin and Saint Germain are perhaps parallel expressions of the same oversoul, but is that an accurate way to describe what their relationship is? No. Because what I recently discovered is, or at least through here, and I haven't found anyone who got to know yet, is saying that it's more accurate to say that Saint Germain and Merlin are the same beings. He's just sort of had a different disguise to fit in with the times. Yes. So I thought that was interesting. You know, people call Saint Germain a time traveler, but it's Saint Germain and Merlin are the same being. Yes. So really interesting. Very interesting. Something to explore there. And so if you're into Saint Germain, the Violet Flame, like this is all connected to Merlin and the Druids. And like another interesting thing about Merlin is that he is both, like his creation is a mystery, right? And he loves that it's a mystery. Is that true? Yes. He loves the Merlin mystery. And so, but what he has told us is that Merlin is a creation of both angelic and draconian or dragon energies. Is that correct? Yes. Like, in essence, Merlin is what happens when an angel and a dragon has a baby. Yes. And then is sent to Earth to help. Yes, to help humanity. And so that's what he's been doing. He's been trying to help humanity. And so that's why I love connecting with him, because he is still very much helping us. Yes, in ways more than this right now. Yeah. So, okay. So, now that we've introduced him, let's move on. Oh, and I forgot this part of the practice. It's always important when you connect to someone new to calibrate the rods, because it's not all the time, but there will be times when someone's yes and no are different. Is that correct? Yes. So whenever you connect with someone new, oh, you learned about the Violet Flame in Reiki class? Awesome. Yes, it's all connected to Saint Germain, the Violet Flame, Atlantis. Violet Flame is one of the first, does the Violet Flame have a consciousness? I got a big yes on that one. Yeah. Then in essence, you know, through my path in hypnosis, I have been contacted by actual aliens. Is that true? Yes. But one of the first beings then, maybe the first actual being or consciousness to really connect or reach out to me was technically probably the Violet Flame. Yes. It's like I just started getting weird synchronicities about the Violet Flame and Saint Germain, and a book found its way to me for free. Yes. All about the Violet Flame. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And then following that yarn led me on this hero's quest that I'm bringing to the public now. So for this, I do have a set of questions and topics that we're going to explore today. They are interesting. Okay, so let's just go into it. The first set of questions we were going to talk about was previously in Emily's channeling, she connected the dots of Yeshua, aka Jesus, and Nikola Tesla. That they are basically parallel expressions of the same oversoul, which is the Hercules. Okay, they all part of the same lineage, Hercules. So I was going to ask about that. So if you have personal questions, I most likely won't answer them. I see the questions about Atlantis and everything. Like, the honest truth is that, just to cover myself, there's a 99% chance that if your mind wanders on its own to topics like Atlantis or dragons or fairies, you have a parallel expression linked in that realm. Like, so, or timeline. Is that true? Yes. And so, you're asking the wrong questions. It's not about do I, because if you knew how easy it is to have a lifetime, you would understand that simply because I'm interested in the idea of dragons and I have the capacity to go and decide, I want a life with dragons, I can go and do that. We can go and do that. Then you most likely have. So it's about not asking have I experienced that? It's how can I tap in to the version of me that is experiencing that? Because our version of time isn't what we think. It's not linear. That version of you having a dragon rider lifetime is alive right now, having their experience. And we're all connected in this quantum weird plasma web, aka Source and Sophia energy, which permeates everything. Which I'm pretty sure, I always say, like, if there is a tangible version of God, it's water. Water is the tangible version of Source, God, everything, right? It's everywhere. And it's stayed in yes that entire time. So has everything I said been accurate thus far? Yes. That's how I'm learning I channel, is like I start getting into a little rant of thought stream, and yeah. So it just came on out. Woohoo! Alright, so that was my little rant about existence. Thank you for listening. Now we're going to move to Tesla and Yeshua. Let's ask. Make sure you take a sip of water, especially if you also have been ranting about the truths of the universe. Huh. Okay. I like to also ask periodically, am I still connected to Merlin? Yes. Okay, thank you. Alright. So, let's just get straight to it. Is what Emily channeled the other day accurate in that Nikola Tesla and Yeshua are parallel expressions? I get a yes. And I can feel it, like, feel into your body as well on this yes. Because it feels like a stronger yes than usual for me. Or I'm feeling more buzzy in my legs. Okay? And so another thing I wanted to ask about it. Hold on. Okay. Because something else I've been told is that, is there a connection between Nikola Tesla and Elon Musk? I get a yes, but that's vague, because I mean his company is called Tesla. But is it more than just the company name? Like, do they have a parallel expression connection, just like the Yeshua connection? Oh my gosh. I'm getting a slow yes. So I'd love to hear what you guys are getting. And because that's a big question, I like to ask it the other way. So we'd say, like, like, ask something that might get a no. Okay, is Zechariah Stitchin a parallel expression of Nikola Tesla? No. But I have heard, is Zecharia Sitchin a parallel expression of someone who worked alongside Nikola Tesla? I'm getting a yes. And what's funny about that tidbit of information is that came straight from Zecharia Sitchin's voice during one of my early channeling experiments, where we were testing, like, well, who can we channel deceased people, because we wanted to channel like people like Dolores Cannon, and Zecharia Sitchin was on our list. And if you don't know who Zecharia Sitchin is he is a deceased author of a lot of sci-fi books that concern the Anunnaki, Nibiru, all that kind of stuff. He was really into the ancient Egypt alien connection, which turns out he was correct. Yes. So we channeled him successfully, which was amazing. And he told us a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, he told me that he was a parallel expression of someone who worked with Nikola Tesla to try and bring about free energy. And so it was really neat. So I got a yes on that. And then I also learned, what else have I learned that I want to test right now? Okay, so let's go into the Elon Musk soul contract, because as we've learned before, something that aliens and angels were talking to me about early on in my awakening was about, like, the Donald Trump role in humanity's highest timeline. Because it was right around, it was before the end of the second election. No. God, I don't even remember anymore. All I remember it was, and he's like, yes, you don't even remember anymore. All I remember is that when aliens started contacting me, it was before Kamala was mentioned as a nominee. And so it was still presumed to be Biden versus Trump. And so when the aliens started contacting me, of course, you know, I was still very much in 3D at that time, and so of course I asked about the election, what to expect, and they actually gave me prophecies, which all turned out to be true. And I remember they were like, it's not going to be a man versus Trump, it'll be a woman. I was like, what? And then that turned out to be true. And then they were like, what else did they say? Oh, they said Trump was going to win. And I was like, what? And they're like, but that means you're on the highest timeline. I was like, there's no way. And it was around that time that I started trying, like, aliens, what do they know? What do they know? And I was like, they can't know. And so I was still in disbelief. But as it turns out, it turned out to be true. Yep. So when he won, like, the aliens told me that he was, I was like, okay, well, they were right about that. Hopefully they'll write about that second aspect, which is that it means we're on the highest timeline for all. And I had to really learn about that. And that involved me diving into, like, Trump's soul contract. Yeah. Because life is funny. You know, if you were to look back at your lifetime, look at the villains in your lifetime, the people who played the villainous characters. Okay, for me, I immediately think of my mother-in-law, which is such a trope. It's such an old trope, but it's true. My mother-in-law really despised me. Now she tolerates me, but she really despised me. Was comically, like, movie scene level cruel. I have some good stories. But anyways, you come to learn that the people who played these villainous roles were really volunteers. You know, that before you incarnated, there's like a meeting of the mind, so to speak, in which these players who play roles in your life, like big roles, family, friends, all these kinds of things, sort of design the story they want to craft, at least the major parts of the story. What lessons are we going to teach each other? What challenges are we going to push so the others grow? And you come to learn that those who play the villain are actually some of your biggest, like, buddies on the other side, which is such a weird mind melt. But as someone who has been, I have gone through the biggest of betrayals and pains in this life, that thought honestly helped me. So take it or leave it. You know, it helped me, and so maybe it'll help one of you. None of that is true. God crafted us. This is New Age nonsense. I love that mentality. Okay. There's a couple fallacies there. God is real. Yes. Capital G, God. And you can call him, and what's funny is old me would have thought God is not like masculine in any way, correct? But it's true actually that God, if God were to have pronouns, he would be more like a he, they. Yeah. Because he's sort of like split into source Sophia, and Sophia has more of the feminine energy that permeates through all existence. Yeah. And so, thank you for feeling bad that I was treated bad. But as everyone signs up for life with challenges, I don't know a single person that got away with the 0 challenges on their sign-up sheet. That doesn't exist. But yeah, there, of course, everyone is going through like different levels of challenges at every time, and not that makes anyone better than one another, but it's more accurate to imagine others instead of like a race. It's more like we're all on the same spiral together. Yes, spiraling up closer to God, remembering that the separation between us and God is an illusion, kind of a thing. So, and the other fallacy in your statement, this is New Age nonsense, is that technically, going by human history, Christianity is New Age. Yes. And if you really were to put on your like completely open-minded observer goggles and seriously look at like the foundation of Christianity, you would see that like a lot of that stuff that is still continued today, just less gory, is like blood sacrifice, not good, God. And I honestly invite you to go back through the Bible, okay, with the idea that maybe more than one God exists in the Bible and is mentioned in the Bible. And that would maybe explain why Old Testament God sounds a lot crazier than the God Jesus was talking about, right? Like, they're not even the same kind of difference, because they're not. And I'm still getting a yes on this. And you can ask too, is the Old Testament God the same God that Yeshua is speaking about? Look, I'm getting a no. Ask again. Is the Old Testament God the same God that Yeshua speaks about? I'm getting a no. So just interesting. Explore. Take what resonates, you know? Yes, it's all control manipulation. Because like I said, and this is true too, did anyone who wrote a chapter in the Bible that we know today, the version that we know today, did any one of those men actually ever meet or know Yeshua in real life? I'm hitting a big no on that. And so the copy that we have today has also been crazy gone through kings and popes and just censored like crazy. Like, I don't even remember what date did we know that they had like 88 or 80 something chapters in the Bible, and now we have like 60 something. Weird. Should make you wonder why. And all those chapters are most likely under the Vatican. Yes, the same people who technically were responsible for trying unsuccessfully to end Yeshua's life. Yes. They made him a martyr to their New Age religion and then told everyone, you should give me money. Because that's what Yeshua literally, if you want to say Yeshua died for anything, he technically died then because he was really against the corruption of the church, which then co-opted his message and proceeded to corrupt and manipulate us to this day. So, yeah. But thank you for bringing up that topic. It's important. Because so many of us grow up, and as a past life regression hypnotist. My job is literally to help people unbox their trauma. This life trauma, other life trauma that's bleeding into this life, all kinds of things. And I can tell you without a doubt, the hardest trauma to unhook out of yourself and free yourself from mentally is religious trauma. Of feeling like, of being told you are inherently wrong, and you must do something for you to be deemed worthy or pure enough by God. That's such a crazy idea that you would teach to someone, and it's not true. So, is that true that you people are born with inherent sin? No. The one true aspect that I love about what Christians say, and what I would assume most Abrahamic religions say, is like that phrase where it's like we're all created in the image of God. Yeah. And so therefore, God creates perfection. Yes. It's like God's perfection is what we are inherently. Your religious trauma is end times fear. Yes. Oh my gosh. Are you talking about end times like hell or end times like rapture? Because interesting thing about both of those. Oh, hold on. Oh, let's just ask. Are both hell and the rapture concepts created by men? That was a big yes. That was a fast yes. And, so when I was first contacted by aliens, again, I'm a very normal person, so I asked probably the most basic questions that you would wonder, which was, of course, is hell real? Yes. Well, thank you. And their answer was, it's actually sad, because it was like, no, hell is not real. There is no place people go when they die to receive punishment for what they've done in that lifetime. Is there a hell that exists like that? No. But the technicality that you can blame the church for, I don't know if you've ever heard the term egregore. It's the idea that if enough people believe in something, we as humans are powerful enough that if we believe in something, we manifest it into reality. Yes. And so they told me that, like, while hell isn't real, think of that movie, What Dreams Become. I feel like that movie, What Dreams Become, had a lot of truth about what the afterlife is like. Some truth, not all of it, because that also had hell in it. But I also want you... In that movie, it showed that, like, your thought process at the moment of your death and everything is really kind of key in determining what happens afterwards. Yes. And so, obviously, if you can imagine, if I die in fear and trauma, my spirit, immediately you come out of your body and you're still stuck, and that's why you can get situations like ghosts and things, which are in essence like a spirit that is in a loop, like an echo loop, that has been imprinted on that timeline because of that trauma. So it's like they're stuck. There's like a fragment of that person's soul, like stuck in a loop. Yes. Okay. And so, where was I going with this? Oh. And so, yes. And so people who truly believe that hell is real and that they deserve it, in essence, sort of create that reality for themselves. And so it's a prison of their own making, yes. But they're doing that. And so on the same line, another kind of sad truth that I was told about all of this and Yeshua, going back to how, like, you guys should really question the fact that there are literally places you go to of worship that have a figure of a torturing, bleeding man on a cross. Like, really grotesque. And you all worship to it. And I want you to just, like, try and look at that from an outsider's perspective, okay? Like you're an alien on this planet, and you've just been told this is where we come for worship, and like you just look. I'm sorry, but I'm immediately going to think like you guys are into some blood sacrifices stuff here, it would be questionable. And so, like, I don't know. I would invite you all to look at things with that lens again. How much of what we have been told Christianity is actually the New Age religion here that is all warped and backwards. And so, and if you think back to Christianity's early time, since we are tapping into Merlin, okay, and so his story is very tied to the beginning of Christianity. Yes. Because Merlin is very tied to the Druids. Yes. AKA pagans. Yes. Because at some point when Christianity was trying to become popular, they realized there were too many people worshiping and connecting with the earth. Yeah. And that was bad for business. So something had to be done. So of course you're going to genocide them. Yes. If you're a money-hungry church, of course. What else would you do? Easiest solution. And so that's what was done. And so Merlin's story and King Arthur's story, hey Emily, connects. Oh, you're okay. Well, then let me get to the Armageddon and Rapture stuff, because there's stuff to be learned with that too. And a lot of it I learned from Emily, who happens to be here, who channels the same beings that I do. So, but let's go back. Is the rapture concept an idea created by men? Yes. And then you can ask, was the concept created for control reasons? Yes. And it's like, is there a shred, I'm trying to think, like, so the rapture, the concept is like, at some point, heaven or something will happen and good people will get to be brought up. Yes. Okay. Okay, yeah, Judgment Day. Okay, that's what yeah. It's like a judgment day, everyone good, and who's loved Jesus gets picked and goes up. Okay. Again, I invite you to go with the idea that when you say that out loud, that sounds like the greatest propaganda to play at my next Christian rally. Come be saved, we're going up, and we're the cool ones, everyone else, lame. Losers, don't like them. Come to it. Like, are you sold? Like, it's like, now we can look at it and be like, it's crazy that that worked on so many people, but for so long. But you have to imagine, a lot of these stories were being brought up during a time when a majority of people literally could not read. They were being handed these books that were like jibber jabber to them and being told, this is the word of God. And only this person in your village in the next 100 miles can read it to you. And so it gave a lot of power to that guy who could read, which is definitely not women. Like, so you just have to understand, we've been through a long series of like questionable leadership, censoring questionable things for a long, long time. And here we are at the moment where things are tipping the table, and I love thinking about Yeshua. Okay, this is funny. And perhaps, would you say this is a download coming into my head? I'm getting an image of, like, Yeshua kicking the table. Like, no, we're not balancing it. We're, like, kicking it over. Doing it better. And we're right at that moment in table-turning, table-flipping history. Now. Which is why things are all wackadoodle. And so, yeah. Okay. You're talking about war, pestilence, societal collapse, worldwide suffering, your religious trauma. Okay. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. I guess this is turning into a TED Talk on Dale's views of how the universe operates. Okay. My awakening also started because I became a new mom to twins in the pandemic. I started being really scared of obviously seeing less trust in my government. And I really felt like what was going to do us out was climate change. I know a lot of people think nuclear bombs and stuff, but I know for a fact, and I'll just get this out of the way, is it accurate to say, I keep hearing like there's no chance in hell, since we're just talking about hell. Is it accurate to say that it is that forces outside of our control will not allow any nuclear bomb to go off? Yes. That was also one of the more early questions I asked the aliens, and this is a wild thing they told me, but we have the rods, so we'll ask. They told me that in one of our original Earth timelines during the World War II, there was 100% more than one bomb that went off. Is that true? I'm getting a yes. And they told me it was like bombs everywhere, flip-flying, and we destroyed everything. Yes. And it was described to me like, I guess that was during a time when it almost seems like those who oversee Earth kind of had it on like autopilot, like kind of like AI run autopilot, like Earth's doing good, systems are under control, the seasons are good, humans are growing, what damage could they do? They're definitely not ready for craziness, but it turns out we were definitely ready for craziness, yes. And so we destroyed ourselves in that timeline, correct? And so that is how they explained to me, sort of changed everything, and it went from who's watching Earth to who's not paying attention to Earth right now. Yes. So there's that, and so that's to cover the nuclear impossibility, that aliens and other beings will interfere to prevent that from happening. Yes. So that's not a possibility. The second thing I want to explain that's been kind of ruminating in my mind is timelines, and the fact that is it accurate to think of that I am experiencing my own universe? Yes. Hey, Soul Riser. And everyone out there watching me right now are also experiencing their own personal universe. Yes. And so I like to think of us, imagine us as little molecules, little galaxies, and I'm my own galaxy, you're your own galaxy, and we're all experiencing the same Earth, but a very different pocket universe on the same Earth. And so we share, there's like a collective universe we all share that's like big topics, but again, we're separated by timelines. Each of our unique universes is like a train that can go on its own train track. So even though I could be in a totally different timeline than my next door neighbor. Yes. And how does that play out? Okay. So if that's true, then by watching the news, which is predominantly focused on getting you to focus on the negative timelines that could potentially play out. Is that true? Yes, that's its goal. I'm getting a yes. Then effectively, the news is trying to steer more people's attention to those timelines and solidify them into realities. Yes. Okay? Like, sit with the level of insidiousness that truly is. The beings that are in charge of deciding what is put on the news are very much aware that our thoughts create our realities. Yes. They know that where your attention goes, energy flows. And that's not just a statement that that's like a quantum law of this universe that we all inhabit. And so if that were true, then let's say I'm this church and I really want to be rich and I really want to get everyone to follow my rules and obey me, not question me, really punish those who question me so that they basically are killed immediately, really don't want them. And then I also want you to always be afraid that if you steer from obeying me in any way, doom will happen. Well, I'm going to tell you that story, especially when I understand how on a quantum level I can create realities by convincing you to believe in mine. Okay? So that's why it's so, so, so important in this time that if you are afraid of the future, you really need to, like, in essence, if you're in your own universe and your body is the house, it's like shut the windows, shut the doors, go inside for a minute, turn everything off. Okay? And like the best thing I can do for you, because I remember being that person who was deathly afraid, and I say deathly because it was literally physically and energetically killing me to stay in that place of fear of the future. Because here's the thing about the future and timelines, is that if anyone tells you what's going to happen in the future, they're full of it. Is that true? Yes. I can tell you that there is probabilities of certain timelines playing out, yes. But again, each of us is having a unique timeline experience that also merges with a collective timeline experience. And so it's a group project in a way, but there are still individual timelines that you are in control of, and that's it. And the only way to control your individual experience and those around you who you love is not to convince them that the world is ending. Okay? We all had our Chicken Little experience. The world is ending, the sky is falling. We all had to go through that. But don't go through that if you don't have to. Okay? The key to saving the world is truly to just heal yourself. Start exploring these in public, because so a little blurb about me. I have a background in forensic science. I have a master's in forensic science and a double majored in Spanish and biology. And in the past 5 years, I had a spiritual awakening and started going into hypnosis. And now I'm a certified hypnotist specializing in past life regression hypnosis, which is basically just... that's not even a correct term for it, because the Dolores Cannon created it calling it past life, but we're now learning it's more like parallel life. It's all happening at the same time. So that's what I do, and it literally led to discovering that when people go deep enough, your mind becomes an interdimensional communication device, and that's not a glitch, it's a main feature, except again, we've been through millennia of literally hunting people who knew about that stuff. Literally, like that's our history. That's the Christian New Age religion's history, among other Abrahamic religions' history. They hunted everyone that they thought might know about all of this main feature spiritual technology built into our bodies. So we're in an age where we're bringing it all back. We're bringing it back, baby. And so if you're interested in learning how to do the rods, I learned because of Emily, who might still be watching, Emily Eaton, Divine Magic with a CK.com. She's also in the process of putting out a new set of rod introduction classes, which helped me so much. Oh, hey, Emily, I'm glad you're still here. And it took me a long time for them to work. Some people pick them up and it's like effortless and kind of freaky. And some people like me pick it up and it takes a long time for it to really feel like that was definitely not me moving the rods. So this practice is a practice where we can all kind of practice together, and I kind of show you, yes, it's used as spectacle in a lot of TikTok users, but it's also a tool to be used like at home. And that's why I wanted to end with the stuff you can start to ask yourself. Oh, and Emily, I don't know if you were here for the beginning part where I was asking about what you had said about the Yeshua and Tesla connection, but I also asked, because I've been told by other aliens that there's a similar connection between Elon Musk and Nikola Tesla. Yes. So then, therefore, is Elon Musk a parallel expression of Yeshua? I get a yes too. So that's interesting and something to explore. But obviously, there's a obviously none of us out here truly know Elon Musk. Yes. And so, and just like with Donald, we come here with soul contracts Is it true that, like, Donald Trump came here with a soul contract that ultimately is positive for humanity? Yes. But is also going to is obviously directly responsible for initiating a lot of chaos. Yes. And so there's complications to that. And so in the same way, is it true then that Elon Musk, his soul contract involves helping humanity? I get a yes. Okay. And it's like, so it's interesting. They share a lineage, Hercules, but that he's not literally an expression of Yeshua. Okay. That's like, then what else? So is it maybe Elon just carries Yeshua or Hercules? Not Yeshua. Elon Musk just carries like Hercules lineage? Yeah. And so they're part of the same oversoul? Yes? Yeah, and the type of help I've been told, like, and again, it wasn't specific, but what they insinuated is that it's almost like there's technology he's secretly working on. Yes. I think it's connected to free energy. Yes. And I was also told, let's see if it's true. I was told that it's like Elon Musk has people on his team that are aware of a lot of the things Emily and I are aware of. Yes. So it's almost like he has like a divination team. Yeah, which I thought was interesting. So then I was like, is he then in contact with some of the beings we're in contact with? Yes. And so interesting. Again, I had to learn, and so maybe some of you had to learn, that I know it's so easy to look at some of these public figures and be like, ew, because they are ew in a lot of ways. But then let's ask, is it true that is Donald Trump currently operating on alignment with his soul contract? Yes. You're getting that this is an example of a difference between lineage by birth versus by choice. Interesting. So Nikola Tesla is then lineage by birth to Yeshua? Okay, and then would you say Elon Musk is more lineage by choice? Yes. Interesting. Okay, that's a whole new concept to explore. And maybe we'll have to explore that later, Emily and I with the Merlin concept to myself, because that feels complicated in and of itself. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Emily. We would love to hear more from you. You feel Donald Trump is supposed to break down the current political... Yes, yes. As we said earlier, it's part of Donald Trump's soul contract to bring about chaos. Yes. That inevitably will expose the issues that need to be torn down. It's like, I think of him as he's the flashlight, or sometimes the dynamite, exposing the cracks in the foundation. And he's a product of what the... It's funny, and I hope those who really hate him can learn to appreciate, I think, the poetic irony of him, okay? And realize he is a product of the system that he is going to inevitably destroy. And that's I think that's poetic. So, anyways. And so, yeah, with Elon Musk, I was also told that, like, and again, timelines are very different, but I was told that if there is a timeline in which there's, like, a temporary stalling of infrastructure and, like, energy access, are there still potential timelines that could play out like that? Yes. Does the highest timelines that we could go on still potentially have temporary grid setbacks? Yes. So I was told that if there are temporary, and they're always going to be temporary. Yes, that's something I was told often. But during those times, it's like that seemed to be implied when Elon Musk's technology will come to sort of save the day in a way. And so again, I don't know if he's consciously wanting to help humanity, but I hope his goal, his soul contract, inevitably is to help humanity. Yes. And so those of us who are not involved with these people, we need to get used to radical trust and shift our focus. Close your windows. Stop looking outside your universe and focus on your universe, because it's the only one you can shift with actionable action steps right now. Yes. So for those of you who are afraid of potential timelines that could play out, you are not going to avoid those timelines by staring at them and being in fear, because that fear you're holding is the anchor for that timeline. Yes. And instead, reconnect. It's like with the present moment, because the present moment is where all timeline possibilities exist. I know that sounds woo-woo, but you know, this is quantum science. Like, you can't see a microwave, but you know that that's emitting things that heat up your food. And so I'm telling you, we are existing in this weird now moment where all timelines are possible. And I'm about to lose battery. Let me plug that in. I have one final thing to do. Let me do this before I die. Right here. Okay. I've got one final thing to do for the end, where I wanted us to do like a mind, body, spirit segment, where we do like ask questions that we could use in our personal practice. And so I'm a big believer in that the life hack of all life hacks to creating heaven in your universe in order to see it everywhere is to focus on three subjects: mind connection, body connection, spirit connection with yourself. Okay? I like to think of us as Sims, like in the Sim game. Those are your 3 bars that you want to stay full every day, and at least do one thing a day to help in those regards in order to be a happy human on their highest timeline. Okay. Along with hydrating more. We need to be hydrating more. Okay, so mind, body, spirit. First, I want us to ask, and everyone's going to get different answers for this one because it's going to be personalized to you. But for me, I want to know which area needs my focus the most right now. So the most. Only answer for the one that has the most of mind, body, spirit. Okay, so then we ask, is it my mind that needs the most work right now? No. Okay. Is it my body that needs the most work right now? Yes, and I knew it was going to say that, because I woke up with a very inflamed lower back. Yes. And I need to stretch and move. Yes. And that's why it's happening. And so just is it my spirit that needs the most work right now? No. And I feel like it's a big no, because what I'm doing, that's probably the area of my life I'm probably doing the most focus on. Yeah. Yeah. So be careful when you start getting divination, because you gotta be ready for the truth. Same with tarot cards. Tarot cards, since it's a divination tool as well, it's like they will tell you the truth. So be careful what you ask. You got a yes for mind. Interesting. And so I have questions. Okay, so if you got a yes for mind, I have a couple questions to kind of help you steer your focus. Okay, so then you can ask, for mind, do I need to shift my beliefs? The next one is overthinking blocking me? The next one is fear influencing me? And the next one is, am I avoiding clarity? Okay, now we're moving to body, which is the one where I needed focus. So, do I need more rest? I gotta know, which is surprising. Okay, it's do I need, put it in neutral. Do I need more movement? Yeah. I feel like I need to do gentle movement today. Yes. I have been wanting to get into I think it was Steve. Someone in our most recent meditation mentioned a YouTube page called Yoki. It's YOQI, and it's a mix of like Qigong, however you spell it, energetic Qigong and yoga. So I'm gonna give that never stop move. I know, but it's like a sore back, so I thought it was gonna say rest, but I've been resting this morning. Now I need to really I think I'm gonna stretch and ice after this. Okay, also for body, the next ones. Do I need dietary changes? No. Okay. The next one, is my nervous system dysregulated? No. Okay. Spirit. So if it was your spirit that needed more work, the questions are to ask, do I need deeper connection? And I'm going to, no, yeah. So do I need deeper connection? The next one is, am I disconnected from intuition? The next one is, do I need stillness? And the last one is, am I resisting trust? And then for our final question, it's a yes or no question, but then it's a practice for us to ask in, because again, using these tools, it's only possible because we're like intentionally opening up our bodies, spiritual technology as a channel, an energetic channel, like a lightning rod, to other realms, okay? And currently we're connecting to Merlin, who probably exists in the God realms, the Pantheon realms. I don't know. He's angelic. He's probably all the realms. Who knows, honestly. But yes, so we're opening up the channel, and so not only can we get electrical impulses that move the rods, but we can also get thoughts and other things. And so that's when you can explore your clairs, your psychic gifts. Each one of us is so different. Mine is primarily claircognizance. Emily has said that hers is primarily clairsentience, which is like sensations feeling. I think that's my secondary one, but it's definitely not my primary one. I'm not as sensitive as I like to be. But claircognizance is one of the, it's usually considered one of the more advanced, less fun, harder ones to develop, because most of us claircogs are usually overthinkers, yeah. And I find it nearly impossible at first to tell what's basic me versus higher self me, yeah. So it's really hard. It's like you just have to take it all, yeah. So that's what makes a claircognizance difficult. It's very hard to like separate. The thoughts just come in as your thoughts. So I'm a know-it-all, but I don't know why I know it all. It's a toughie. It's a toughie. Good. I'm glad, Jenny. I'm glad you got some answers. Okay, so the question is, for at least, because I got it in my body, so for you it's going to be different. To heal the connection with my body, is there a clear action I should take this week? Yes, that was a big yes. And then I want you to just sit in and ask, what clear action should I take this week? And just trust the first thing that comes in. Okay, that is how they come in, just impulse. Yeah, I mean, I've been neglecting body movement for a while now. So I haven't been knowing that I needed balance, and waking up sore was just like, fine. And that's funny, because something else I've learned is like, so each of us have an angelic protector, guardian, whatever. True, yes. And some of us have more, yes. And I've learned that angels, is it true that angels do not view human pain the same way we do? Yes. And so interesting thing about angels and their lessons is they will physically, like, I don't want to say like injure you, although, but yeah, is it true that I have definitely had like my guides who are here for my highest and greatest good, but have they totally made me stub my toe to teach me a lesson? Yeah. Yeah, that was a rough one, a rough month, because they made me stub my toe 3 times, the same toe. And I was like, okay, after the third time, I was like, this is a little ridiculous now. Like, what is going on? And it was when I was starting to explore that sometimes what we experience physically is like a message or a way of communication from the other side. And so I was like, okay, I hear you. What is it? And I looked it up. I was like, what does a right foot injury, toe injury mean? And it was like, you're too afraid of the future. Is that true? Yes. And at the time, I was totally stuck in fear loops about future timelines concerning the presidency, all that stuff. And so a lesson that is helpful for today is don't be afraid. We are the solution. All of us now who are like pausing and being like, okay, the program is telling me to be very afraid. But what if I stop trusting that program and realize that the fear is the glitch that they inserted into this experience? And that we have a lot more control over all of this than we've been led to believe. We got this. We got this. As they say up top, is it true that if you were to consider this, that we're currently experiencing a spiritual war in a sense? Yes. Is it true then that in the timelines that we're experiencing now, the light has already won? Is that an accurate statement? I'm getting a yes. It's like, but people might be thinking, well, why does it look so yucky when I look out the window? And I'm like, yeah, I know, but that's because I call this stage the pimple popping phase. Yeah. Okay. We're going through, it's like, we're in a weird bubble of happenings because there's a lot of things going on right now. There's Gaia, the consciousness of our planet, literally going through the biggest shift we've ever experienced while inhabiting her. Yes. We are a part of that shift if we want to be. Yeah. And this is the 5D shift I'm talking about. So that's happening, at the same time in our 3D reality, time works differently. And so we're sort of playing catch up, it's like, yeah, there are more oracles popping up left and right, like myself, like Emily, like we're telling you what's already happening, but unfortunately here, boots on the ground, we have to see it play out. And so the detox phase is what we're in now, and it's going to catalyst a whole wave. I'm seeing it as like a giant flame, violet flame wildfire. And each of us awakening to our own sovereignty and authenticity and joy are literally anchoring in to Earth and the grids that exist here, and basically acting as massive violet flame bonfires. And literally spreading it all over. That's how I see it. Is like, I like to think of the scene in Lord of the Rings, or like, call for Gondor, light the flame. And then they do, and then all the other civilizations that exist see it, and they're like, we come to their aid and we light the flame. It's like, we are literally the flames. Like, if we were to truly know how many souls are volunteers here specifically for this specific timeline to initiate this change with our planet, you would stop worrying, because it's so many of us. It's already written what will happen. The fun part now is, what are we going to do as humans, individually, collectively, with the new, I want to say, like, the new level. We're literally moving into a brand new level. Earth Game 5.0. Shifting from Earth 3.0 to Earth 5.0. And that's going to mean, it's going to mean, in a literal sense, that we're already seeing it, that more of us are popping up with heightened psychic gifts, which are, again, not a glitch, but a main feature. Yes. More of us are going to be literally becoming master manifestors and learning to really hone that skill. Yes. And what I mean by manifesting, like, I have a couple stories where I'm like, oh my gosh, that was kind of crazy. and I think they're going to become more normal. For example, I needed a lighter for my altar the other day, and I was with a friend, and I was like, make sure you remind me when we come back from the house to get a lighter. And we totally forgot to get a lighter when we came back to the house. And when I came back to the house, there happened to be a package of lighters on that table with my candle altar. And I was like, what? And I asked my husband, I was like, did you get me these lighters? And he was like, yeah, crazy story. I was at the gas station and this guy blocked my exit outside, and he wouldn't let me go to my car unless I bought these lighters. And I kept trying to get around and be like, no, thank you, I don't need lighters. And he kept yelling at me, you need these lighters. You need these lighters. And so he bought the lighters. And what's funny is, even though he thinks I'm cuckoo, he said his first thought was, I guess Dale needs these lighters. So he bought them and he put them on my table. He's like, I guess you needed them. And I was just like, dang, I definitely did. And so that was just further proof that I needed those lighters for my altar. And so my gang was like, we got you. You won't need to pay for those lighters. And so in that sense, it's safe to say and accurate to say that is going to become the normal for many people. That is where we are shifting. That's the goal, is like more than that even. So when I tell you the future is bright, I truly, truly mean it. But again, it's about shifting your focus, because where your thoughts go, energy flows. And you are in charge of choosing your timelines. You're not stuck here. You're not a victim here. It's true that we've been victimized as a humanity for a long time, but we as a whole are emerging out of the victim role and into the sovereign role. And that's what we're witnessing. And that is going to be tough. That's tough. As those of us who are maybe a little further on the spiral journey know, healing is hard work. It's so hard to face the truth, face the mirror of like who you really are, the choices you've done, and taking accountability and choosing to do things differently, and forgiving your parts and other people's stories. Like it's hard work. So we're doing it, and it's working. We're literally seeing it. And so I don't know if you're seeing it, but I'm definitely seeing shifting of the people around me, of the realities. Like, the future is bright, my friends. It's the rise of the Sophia, the rise of the divine feminine. It's so true. I know, if you're exhausted from healing, please be sure to rest, because resting is part of integrating as well. Yes. And that was actually a huge part of my healing. I had to realize that I'm an immigrant's daughter, and so I come from a long line of single mothers who worked until pretty much the day they died. Yeah. And so I come from a long line of relaxation being like a cuss word. There's no relaxation. It's laziness. And so I had to really heal a lot of that. And it's funny because I almost said God has a sense of humor, which he does, but it's truly my higher self designed a funny plan, where he was like, oh, you're going to learn to rest, but it's going to be because you're a mom in the pandemic. Enjoy! Like, level of difficulty, very hard. I got a lot of alone time during that time, I tell you what. Okay, so yes, equating it with laziness is such a common, again, I think of it as like a chain, a literal chain that has been programmed into mostly women throughout the generations. And a lot of that is religious in essence as well. A good, godly woman is one who stays busy. Idle hands are the work of the devil. It's comical. Like, when you look back at all the ways in which the powers that were tried to keep mostly women from realizing their power and stuff, like, it's kind of funny the lengths they went to. Like, it was technically illegal, and honestly might still be illegal if the states haven't updated it. But it used to be illegal for women to congregate in groups of 6 or more in public. And I think that's crazy. But in essence, if I were a religious order that knew deep down that women are actually capable of insane amounts of divination and literal magic, I too would want to limit the ability for them to congregate and pool their resources and learn from each other. And so the way to stick it to the man is to do that, is to join a divine feminine group or start one and watch how that shifts everything. Okay, guys, I'm going to go and finish my Sunday. I hope you had a magical, magical day. Thank you for the amazing conversation today. I loved it, and I hope you got a lot out of it too. And so when you end a practice, it's important to thank the beings you were. I totally forgot to connect with the cosmic spiders, but we will do that later on the next Rod's practice, which is on Tuesday at 1 p.m. as well. I'm doing it Tuesday and Wednesday. But also don't forget, on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central, Stephanie and I will be interviewing dragons and other mythical beasts, so it should be a very fun interview. I don't know what to expect, so that should be fun. And then she'll be out of town, so we're not going to have our Thursday night Lilith 2.0. That'll be pushed back to next Thursday. Yeah. But I have some surprises in store for this Friday and other potential new channelers I'm working with that I'm exploring and experimenting with. So stay tuned. I think we're meant to show the world that another main feature of our spiritual technology is this interdimensional telephone thing. And so you can sort of escalate the connection from rods to hearing, seeing, like a walkie-talkie in a way. So we're here to explore that and to demonstrate it. So thank you for following along. I will see you on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Love you guys. Thank you the beings. Thank you, Merlin. Thank you to my highest self. Close out your candle. Do the I demand release statement. I demand release from all control, communication, and influence of my thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds. Blow out your candle, and you are done. Thank you for joining me on this practice today. I love you guys.